Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a Chevy Malibu here. We did a one-step polish on it last week, and then we also did full paint correction on the hood, or on the roof here. The roof actually had sun damage and damage from the automatic car wash that was irreversible. We polished it out with the rotary, then we refined it with the DA. Even after compound and polishing, it was still to the point where the oxidation had already scratched and damaged the surface, so it was irreversible. So my suggestion to the client, instead of painting it, because he didn't want to spend that much money, was to get it wrapped. So I referred him out, he got it wrapped. Now we're back returning because at the shop they recommended him get it coated. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a very, very light polish to make sure that there's no scratches on it with Rupes Uno and a Rupes fine polishing pad and my Rupes Bigfoot Mini. We're gonna hit the top really quickly just to make sure that everything's good to go, and then we're gonna hit it with the graphene coating.
But we're only doing the hood, coating the hood.
Just the roof, yes.
Why not the whole car?
I don't think they were really interested in getting the rest of the vehicle. The rest of the vehicle does look great, and it does have a sealant on it that we did post-polish last visit, but the top was, they were really worried about the damage there, and I think they may possibly be taking it through the automatic car washes still, so they want that to be as protected as possible.
Hey, how do you feel about your customers going to car washes?
You know what? I understand why they do, because sometimes, they just need to, convenience, they want it, more than once a month, or, more than twice a week. And, sometimes you get, bird droppings and stuff on them, and you want to make sure that they're not on there for a long period of time. So I get it, but for the most part, it does cause damage to the vehicle, and it does, it does increase the price when we do have to come out and repair those things. So either way, it's a preference of the client, and I'm just here to help.
Hey Joel, I didn't know you could polish vinyl or wrap.
Yes, you can. You just have to be extremely cautious because it is vinyl. So if you expose too much heat to it, you can warp it and melt it, or you can snag it to where it'll actually start warping and pull up and kind of warp with the pad, with the polishing pad, if there's too much friction or pressure. So what I'm doing is I have a very, very light pad, and I'm using Uno Protect, and I'm just literally just hovering the top surface. I inspected it beforehand. I didn't see any scratches or anything crazy deep. We're just getting it to refine it, so to make sure it's properly prepped prior to, there's a bug, properly prepped and ready to go for the graphene. Okay, so post-polishing, what we need to do before we apply the graphene to properly prep it is we're using the PNS double black paint prep that you have to use. It's going to help remove any of the oils from the Rupes Uno, and then any sealants in the Rupes Uno, as well as any oils or anything that happen to be left behind on the surface. So we're hitting it lightly, we're spraying the towel, and then we're wiping down the section, and then we're just drying it off. And now it's going to be ready for the vinyl itself to adhere to the graphene once it's applied. Okay, so during the prep, so everything's prepped now. We even prepped the glass just in case we got a little bit of coating that rubs over as we're trying to remove the coating. If it gets on the glass, we're not contaminating the vinyl again with dirty glass. So the glass surrounding is clean as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply, this has already been shaken up. I'm going to do a small section. I'm going to let it flash. And then Sal's going to do the removal. Then he's going to flip his towel over and buff out.
For ceramic coating, should you do small sections like that at a time?
Yeah, you should do very small sections at a time, because if you don't, then you're going to have struggle removing it.
Got it.
All right, go ahead now. Be very, very, very careful. controlled. Don't let anything go over the edges and stuff. You need to apply pressure though, to not a ton, but then flip it over and remove. Don't get your hands contaminated when you flip it over.
How do you know that you applied the coating correctly?
You'll know because at the end, we always review it for if you have a high spot right here. You'll review it to make sure there's no high spots in the paint to where they'll come off looking at like smudges. I have a good video on my Instagram that shows an improper installation of a ceramic coating and what it causes, and then also by the level of protection that it's going to have on it. If it's going to take a day or two to actually cure 100%, and then at that point the hydrophobics will kick in. You'll see it'll stay cleaner longer. You'll have all the advantages of the coating itself on the surface, and you'll be able to. It's a tangible result, something you'll be able to see. You'll get a boost in gloss, protection, as well as shine. Yeah, if you didn't do it correctly, you'll have high spots, uneven distribution on the areas, may not be leveled out correctly, or you may have just missed a section, and you'll see a noticeable difference in the color and the saturation of the vehicle and the gloss itself.
I also see that you go from side to side and then go the different direction as well. Is that technique that helps out?
Yeah, that technique is called a crosshatch pattern. I'm going, I'll go vertical, then I'll go horizontal, just to make sure I haven't missed any areas and to make sure that it's distributed evenly. And we do the same thing during the removal process as well.
All right, Joel. So you guys just put the first layer on. Mm-hmm. Are you done? Oh, and what's the next step?
Yeah, right now we are finished. So we've did the whole process. We washed it, we decontaminated. It didn't even need decontamination. So we washed it, we gave it a light polish, paint prep, and then we did the install itself. And then we wiped it down, and it's ready to go now.
So ready to go, as in it's ready, or does it still need to be cured or dried?
Yeah, it needs about a 24 to 48 hour cure time. They're gonna pull it into the garage to make sure that no elements are hitting it, no wind, nothing's falling on it, no bugs, because it is gonna cure. It's gonna be a little bit tacky, and you want to keep it out of any wet conditions for at least 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you said right now it's ideal conditions for coating.
Yes.
Because the sun isn't hitting it directly.
Yes.
What would happen if the sun was right on top of you guys?
You're gonna have it. So when you have a hot surface, the SiO2 is gonna flash extremely fast. Not only because the SiO2 is getting hot, but the surface that you're applying it to is already hot. So you're talking evaporation time, like the instant that you even touch it. So instead of having that 1 minute grace period in order for it to flash, it'll be flashing immediately, and it's extremely hard to get off once it gets to that point. You almost have to polish it off because it becomes semi-permanent onto the paint surface once it flashes.
And let's say there's somebody out there who wants to start ceramic coating.
Yes.
What advice do you have for them?
I haven't.
Yeah. Can they pick it up ASAP, or do you think no, practice on your own car? Or
I would practice on panels first. Maybe go to a junkyard, or if somebody has a vehicle that's not really, maybe it's just a work vehicle or something. I would try to polish. You need to learn how to do paint correction first. You shouldn't be coating anything unless you have a good understanding of paint correction, because whatever you are going to be coating, everything that's on the paint surface is going to be locked in underneath that coating. So if you have scratches, if you have etching, if you have contaminants, those are all going to be locked beneath the surface of the semi-permanent coating. So learning how to polish, number one, paint correction. Number two, the install. Yes, it's a time-sensitive, very technical method, so you have to make sure that you're really just staying on top of it, and you can do it with one person, but it's very difficult, and the more controlled the environment, the better. All right, guys, there you go. We just saw a graphene coating install on the roof of this Chevy Malibu. So I would like to know your guys' techniques and your guys' methods, so please leave them in the comments. If you have any questions, you could always reach out to me on Instagram. If you need any further training and advice, you can hit me up on my line. You can find in the link below, and then all of the products are going to be in the description that we used below today. If you like this video, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. See you guys on the next one.